Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I might be lagging, question mark. Might be some skipped frames. I'm not sure. I don't know. It wasn't like that before I got on the stream, so I don't know. If it's too bad, I'll have to. Oh, you know what? Damn. I forgot I had to fix. Shoot. That's all right. We're here already. Yeah. I forgot I have to reinstall what I use to stream. But whatever, we'll do it later. Good morning, Amelia. Good morning, Trenches. Good morning, Applejacks. How are you guys this morning? Good morning. All right. I'll reinstall it when I get off today. How are you guys this morning? I don't want to hear myself. Okay. So the plan today is any trades that I take, I'm gonna break even at every level right now. That's the trade that I lost yesterday. Just we couldn't break through the VWAP. So I'm going to either break even or really just honestly, if it's like at least 10 ticks away, I'm probably just going to take profit there instead. Just so I can have some kind of profit, because I think long term, just setting the take profit there, I'll get more profit out of it than just like manually setting the break even and hoping that we don't hit my break even and then push through. So we'll see. I am going to trade, what do I have, like 2 or 3 contracts, something on 2 contracts on one of the accounts that renews on Saturday. That's what we're going to do with that one. And actually I might trade a little bit more than that. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Everything is ugly. I didn't even look at the time-based chart yet. So basically straight down on the 5-minute chart so far. We are at the overnight low right now. Oh, 4.2. Good morning, Janelle. How are you this morning? Good morning, Jay. How are you this morning? I didn't even get a chance to get out to the store yesterday. I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it today because it's, even though I'm not journaling my full sessions this whole week. Really, I'm gonna restart next Monday. I have enough data right now where I don't need to journal what happens this week, especially because I'm in the middle of converting data and I still have to reconvert the whole set again. Um, so yeah, I'm just not gonna take extra time that could be put into that for journaling this session because I don't need this week's data really. But I do need to get out to the store today so I can get another notebook just so I can at least continue tracking my balances and stuff. In the meantime, oh no, no. All right, that's cool. Is it? All right, it is copy. But yeah, so are you fucking serious? Great. Let's see, I got stopped out by about point and a half, just for it to go where I wanted it to go. How wonderful. Pushed up 80 ticks from my entry. The ghetto. Just if I got my phone fixed, hell no. I If I go out there, girl, it's gonna be on the weekend. Although going during the week is probably the smartest thing, considering that mall. I don't really shop at malls. I haven't shopped at malls since I was like way younger. So I don't know how busy it is like on the weekends and stuff, but I would rather not have to deal with a whole bunch of humanity while I'm trying to get my phone fixed. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'll go there on the weekend. He paid the work fee so much he learned his lesson. I'm weak. They're trying their best to roll this month over. It's weird to see the market up after that horrible jobs report. I can't even see the, oh yeah, up 0.2% right now. Not that. Oh shoot, I just realized. Let's, sweet. Trap traders. All right. Good morning, Pred. How are you this morning? Applejacks, you would not be able to make me leave my house. Nobody can. Trust you me. If you ain't my granny needing to go to the doctor, baby, I don't really know what to tell you. Figure it out. haven't been to a grocery store or anything in a long time. I did go out, what day was that? I took Amora to the store. Maybe Sunday. I don't know. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Sunday I went out. So I've kind of meet my quota for the week. No, I do need to go back out though. Don't we? Hold on. 9 and 9:30. All right. This market ain't talking about nothing. 3. What a push. I'm not really interested if we push up right here. I'll wait for it to see what the pullback looks like. Okay, never mind. Let's see. I cannot believe we pushed so well off of that damn resistance level. Well, I can, but I can't believe I got stopped out first. All right, let's see what this pullback is talking about. Wait, by what a hoot. Literally got stopped out, pushed up 80 ticks, got to the VWAP and just slammed down. Why does that? Oh. At least we are moving better than we were yesterday, because yesterday was very trash. Very, very trash. I have to reach out because somebody wrote me last night saying they're an affiliate manager at Apex, and it looks to be like it's from a legit email address, but I'm gonna reach out to my contact to make sure. Because what do you want? Wait, what did that say? Please text me to schedule a time to connect. Okay, let's see. All right. A little spike right there. We are getting close to the point of control down there. First point of control. I'm not gonna trade here because I don't really know if I should use the yesterday's close level. It's different than like the native prior close. And I don't even know what the hell it's based off of, to be quite honest with you. So we'll just, leave that there. Let's see. What was that? I don't know, child. Now, how about those bears? And you was trying to do something because you said it ain't about nothing. All right, fix that. See, 72. What a push. What the hell? Hopefully your last Wednesday morning meeting. Girl. Bye, Apple Jacks. Have fun. Good morning, Solo. How are you this morning? Let's start back buying long calls, build up my option portfolio. What's your portfolio looking like on options, Janelle? Do you have anything like you need to completely rebuild from scratch? Mm. I had time to get into that too. I was looking at the wrong damn thing. Great. That would have put me back break even. Missed that one right there. What a miss. It's full TP2. Up by 41% as of today. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice. I don't think I ever looked into options before. I think I was so because I traded binary options for a nice little minute. I learned from major major league trading, and they had such good strategies for binary options back then. Me and my best friend was just talking about that last week. We were talking about how, so many people in the trading space and that's not just the trading space. I would say the entrepreneurial space, period, just because of how people are taught, do funnels, give away something for free, then upsell to this, upsell to that, and how a lot of times you just don't get what you're looking for. But we were talking about how when we were trading binary options with Major League Trading, how like we got exactly what we paid for. Like they gave you their exact strategies. The strategies worked. They set up every single day, and it was just nice. But because we were doing pretty decent in binary options, I never looked into regular options. And I think also like the narrative back then was to just like stay away from options. So I just never really looked into it. I gotta remember that on account number 3020 from Tradeify, because it renews on Saturday, if I'm gonna end up blowing that, I gotta like really push that account tomorrow, basically, because what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm either going to get super duper close to passing it tomorrow, or we're just gonna blow it. I always forget that they have a daily loss limit, and that hold me last time. Um, Thankfully, I had like the Asia session where I could just open up the charts and hurry up and fail it before it renewed that. I think it renewed that night or the next day or something. So I gotta really push that account tomorrow. Good morning, New. How are you this morning? Could it with binary options, lost interest fast. I think it's pretty cool that now you have like the micro version of binary options on Nadex, because I mean back then we were having to use our own money. So even though the strategies worked pretty well, I mean obviously it didn't win 100%, you know what I mean? So sometimes you just didn't have enough capital to be able to continue pushing through. So I think it's pretty nice that they have the micro versions now. It's pretty cool. But binary options was cool. I just eventually you start losing because the contract closes right at your strike price, or one tick or one pip on the other side makes you want to punch things and people. So had to finish. Yeah. Yep, they have micro versions now. I forget what they're called. Let me see. And I forgot when they were introduced. Let me see. Is it the knockout contracts? No, it's not that. I forget what it's called though, but I remember like when they first came out, me and Jeremy were like, what? Where was that when we were trading? Let's see. Interesting. What is this 24? Oh, we just switched to an uptrend. All right. Oh, never mind. It attached itself. Janelle, I have briefly looked into it because when it happened, I think like maybe the next day or the day after or something, Nutty Bar was talking about it because you know he used to be Amish or whatever. So he didn't really go into detail about it, but he like partially mentioned it, so I ended up Googling it. And yeah, I saw that her husband died because he was trying to swim to I don't know, swim to something that was I think in the middle of that lake or something like that. And he ended up dying. And I also saw something about it has something to do with the older kids as well. I know the older kids didn't die or anything, but I think the older kids spoke out and basically said like that she's been being weird like that for a little minute now. I think that honestly, and this is nothing against anybody who's religious, but I think that a lot of times religion just kind of makes some people mm, like they go overboard, go too far. But there's actually, I forget the name of it because I haven't worked in psych in a little minute and we're coming up on 3 years, but I forget there's like a whole, not to say that this lady had it, but there's like a whole psych disorder that has to do with, is it is it when you persecute? I forget, but there's a whole psych disorder that has to do with religion. Um, okay, never mind. I feel like it's persecutory, something like that. But it's crazy to deal with, honestly. So the Amish guy that was on trial for really the husband drowned and the mom is clearly mentally ill. Yeah, I saw something about wasn't there one that had to do with like a golf cart or something? Was that the same one? I can't remember. Where's the point of control? Oh, at the open. Actually, it's probably. mm, Oh, that just changed that up. Ah, signal went away. Yeah, today I might start the process of finishing this, well, not finishing, starting the last conversion that I have to do with this data, because I know that the delta signals are based on like, they're technically based on bid ask data because it shows you like where the aggressors are in the market. But right now I'm still trading on up down tick or whatever. So, and the problem is, even though I have most of my data has both like bid ask and up down tick every single day, I have both of them. Just because a signal happens on up down tick doesn't mean it happens on bid ask. So I basically have to go through all the data that I have and just specifically um, write down when a signal actually does fire on bid ask, and then basically convert the data like I just converted this one, and it takes a while. So I should be finished by Sunday because I'm not going to screw myself over and try to do it all at once or do too much in one day. It's just too much. Too much. No golf cart from what yeah, I can't. There was another one where it had to do with a golf cart and I think putting the family in the golf cart or something and going into the lake. It was something weird. Amish believes if they simply admit to their wrongdoings, all is forgiven. A lot of religions are like that. Yeah, a lot of religions are like that, unfortunately. Beg for mercy or um, ask for forgiveness and ye shall receive, kind of thing. Damn it. Are we? No, you're not. I consider being directional biased. Um, Technically, I kind of am because, well, I am directional biased because I don't, if it's a pullback, right? I don't trade a pullback with the trend the same way I do counter trend at all. Like they're completely different. So, and I don't really take, well, I take more counter trend divergence than I do like pullbacks or whatever. But one of the things that I'm hoping is when I convert this to bid ask, that it helps to get rid of some of the like entries that happen during chop or whatever. But we'll see. The main thing is the way I was traded before, like when I was comparing reversal bar C to like something in swing C, it kind of needed to be on up down tick, but I think now that I prefer like trading with the signals because if I am the whole thought process is if I trade when the signals fire, but still have, like, obviously I wouldn't trade when every single signal fires, but if I trade when the signals fire, I should be automatically trading with momentum, but on up down tick, that's not necessarily the case. So that's another reason why I want to convert to bid ask, because then it should be the case if I'm trading on bid ask. And that way, when I'm getting into trades, I kind of have momentum behind me, because if the main signals are delta sweeps and volume sequencing, which typically um, they fire when like the big guys are in the market, which they always say like you want to trade with the institutions and not with retail, right? So I'm hoping that once I convert it, it'll be a little bit better. I think I might be able to switch even before the conversion, because I think the main thing that was kind of screwing me up this whole time was when I was trading off of levels. Trading off of levels is what was screwing me more than anything, because I was treating like this level as support when really it's resistance. Because if we're in an uptrend and this level is always drawn on, not always, but like 95% of the time is drawn on the last lower high, that means it's a level of resistance, but I wasn't treating it as that. I was treating it as support. And I think that's what was screwing me the most. Simply trade longs versus shorts or vice versa. No, so I haven't considered doing that. And the only reason why is because one thing that I noticed with a lot of people who are, not everybody obviously, but a lot of people who are like biased to one way or the other, they really screw themselves because they don't know when to stop. Like the market has fallen 300 points and you are still long biased. I don't understand. You know what I mean? The only thing that I would possibly do, depending on when I reconvert this data again, if the data is showing me that like, hey, if, you know, if on the, why is it this color over here? Um, the only thing I'll possibly do is like, hey, we're in an uptrend. I'm only taking pullbacks and divergence in the direction of the trend. I will do that. But what I'm not going to do is have like a, oh, coming into today, I'm long biased and I'm only taking longs. Like I just, the, at least with most of the people that I watch, it kind of is a detriment. And I don't want to do that to myself at all. I don't, especially because I'm scalping. Now, if I was intraday swing trading, like when I used to do that, absolutely I had a bias. Absolutely. Um, but with me just scalping and just looking for like, I think right now I'm looking for 6.5 points. I don't want to do that to myself. But obviously, if the data shows that that's better, hell yeah, I would. Absolutely. That's a weak signal right there. No, trading only if the setup is in an upward trend for that day. If not, don't take any trades at all. No. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've never considered that. Mm-mm. So you mean like, all right, if I prefer taking longs, that if we're down for the day, if the market is down for the day, just basically like not trade at all. Mm-mm. Yeah, I've never considered that. And I think, like I said, it's just from watching so many people who either do that, or I think the most people I see do that are people like on Twitter, like, oh yeah, the market was XYZ, so no trades today. And it's like, huh? But a lot of those people are ICT traders, if I'm not mistaken. But then, like I said, you have the directional bias people that, oh, the market only goes up, so I only take longs and I can take a stupid short, but not acknowledge that it was just a stupid short. Just say, oh, this is why I don't take short. Like, no, no, no. Coming from a swing traders. Yeah, I think, like I said, when I intraday swing traded, now mind you, I didn't do the whole like, oh, I really only like taking long, so if we're not up for the day, I'm not taking any trades. I never did that. I still traded both ways. Um, but I did trade more, I guess I would say more with a bias, unless I was doing like a counter trend trade where like it's a trend line break or something like that, and I'm just going for, maybe 10 points or something like that. Yeah. But I think from like a scalping perspective, I just never thought to do that because it's like, okay, as much as the market moves, why would I, if obviously all of this is based on if I can, if I have a strategy with edge, right? So if you have a strategy with edge, why, and your data supports you trading either way or not trading with a bias, or hey, whatever your charts say at that time, take trades in that direction, or hey, you could do trend or counter trend but things change up a little bit. Like, why keep myself out of making profit for that day just because the market didn't look exactly how I wanted it to look? I think like when you're scalping, or even if you are intraday swing trading where like maybe you're only in trades for, I don't know, like let's say 45 minutes to an hour versus 6 hours or something like that. If you are able to get what you need out of the market or what you want out of the market without having to do that, like why keep yourself out of potential profits just because the market didn't look how you wanted it to look? Because how often will the market look how you want it to look? You know what I mean? It's Tanya trade the other day. Someone told you didn't trade on Monday since it was an inside day. Yeah, you have a lot of people like that, like, oh, it's an inside day, or I understand why a lot of people don't trade in ranges, but why not figure out how to trade in range? I don't know. I don't know. I think so many people are so hard stuck on, and this is kind of another reason why I wanted to see if I could develop something on my own, because sometimes when you learn a strategy from someone else, you never take the time to try to figure out like how to make that strategy your own, or how to make it better, how to enhance it, how to still be able to trade in other markets that, hey, this person is telling me it doesn't work in this market. Maybe it does, and maybe I can figure out something that is missing from this strategy that will allow me to trade. Because not trading, okay, what if we have an inside day 7 out of 10 days, 7 out of the next 10 trading days? Then what? So you're just not going to trade at all? And from an affiliate perspective, like, all right, so what? I'm still making money, blah, 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 whatever. But if you are a traditional retail trader, you are either trading full time or you want to trade full time and you're trying to get yourself to that, you have to, well, you don't have to, but your best bet is to figure out how to develop an edge where you can trade in almost any market. Because who's to say that the market is going to be what you want it to be for the next however long? So if it's an inside day for 7 out of the next 10 days, you mean to tell me you're only going to trade 3 days out of 2 full weeks? That's insane. I can find a day trade most of the time unless it's really, really choppy. Exactly. It was choppy, but I could find at least one trade. Yeah. Trying to practice not trading every day due to lack of volatility or a lot of consolidation as a swing trader, though. And see, that makes sense for you because you're a swing trader already. So, like, to me, and this is my thought process, the longer you're in trades traditionally, like, if you're trading off of 4-hour charts, then obviously market conditions have to be a lot more trendy. If you're holding trades for 2 weeks, there's just certain things that you would need for the market to look like in order to optimize your strategy versus somebody that's scalping versus somebody who's only in trades for 5 to 10 minutes. We don't need the charts to be as perfect because we're just trying to get in, get our little money, and get on up out of there and wait for the next trade. You know what I mean? A long setup, but if all I'm seeing is dark red on time and sales, I shouldn't take that trade. Yeah. Yeah. And see, you have something to filter it out. And that's been my main thing. Like I want to be able to trade whether trend or counter trend because like there's a lot of times where a counter trend divergence move will push 200, 300 ticks from that entry. Like, so I'm just not supposed to take it because we're in an uptrend? No. My goal is to figure out how the hell can I get into that? Like, how do I capture that move? That's what I would care most about. I just want to capture that little move. I don't need to capture the whole thing. But if the majority of the momentum is going to be when that reversal bar closes or at the very, which technically would be at the beginning of the trend, then hey, I want my piece of that pie and I don't really care what you do after that because now I'm waiting for the next little spurt of momentum. I just want to be able to trade with momentum, get my 6.5 points, get out and wait for the next move. And my goal, honestly, I've always said this. I don't want to trade all day, right? And I don't really care to take every move. My only goal is that my strategy can give me about 5 to 7 good trades on average a day. If we have a day like yesterday, no, because even though I'm only looking for 6.5 points, the move, like I said yesterday, everything was just kind of like bouncing between levels, and we would kind of get stuck on levels, and then boom, we would burst out, and then we would get stuck again, and then boom, we would burst out. But if on average I can have about 5 to 7 trades a day, and I can be like positive 2 to 3 trades a day on average, then I'm good to go. Like I don't need to make a whole lot of money. I don't. $250 to $350 a day, I'm good. Especially when you multiply that across multiple accounts. I don't even need 60 accounts and 40 accounts. Like, I don't care to do that. Will I? I mean, if I have a strategy that has edge and I have the ability to get my money out of the market via prop firms, I absolutely will. However, it's not, I don't care to do that. Give me a good 5 accounts and I can make 6 figures from that trading an hour and 10 minutes a day. Like, who's gonna complain? I mean, about the whatever day you aren't gonna trade. You have some people that like will not trade certain days of the week, and it makes sense, right? Because if your results are showing that you shouldn't trade on that day, okay, but will you ever take a step back and like try to figure out why? I don't know. I'm just a super analytical person, and I feel like for the most part, there's an answer to almost everything. So for me, like, I want to know why we pushed off of this level so hard. What is the internal data shows me? Can I figure out if that's like a consistent pattern? And if it is a consistent pattern, how do I find out what that consistent pattern is? I mean, for the most part, most of your patterns are going to come from volume, time and sales, order flow, all of that stuff. But a lot of people don't want to take the time to even try to learn that stuff because it's a lot. It's a lot. But I feel like if you learn it, if you can learn it, why not? If it's going to enhance what you're doing and give you the whys behind things, why not do it? Trade every day. Shop for data. I can't trade that since I can't really scalp. 40-hour job gets in the way. I feel you. Take a trade, hence the exhaustion trader and 1 trade a day. Yeah. Wait, my goal is to alleviate losses. My profits are abundant when there's a clear setup. Yeah, and see, but I feel like the majority of people here, we have a goal of like just trying to master the market in the way that we want to. Like, it's not that I'm not taking no for an answer, but I know there's a reason behind things, and I don't care how long it takes me to find the reason, I'm gonna figure out the reason. I think even when, what, a month ago now, when I got this indicator a month and a half ago, like when I went to Umar's video and I saw what he had in the footprint summary table, and I'm like, okay, what do those things mean? Like I legit went, put it into Chat GPT, and I'm like, what does this mean? And think like and when I found out what it meant, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Even when it came to the signals, because now, granted, Trade Devils does have on their website like what most signals mean, but I wanted to understand what it meant, like even beyond what they said. So I put it into Chat GPT, I put it into Google. Like, I want to learn like why things move the way that they move. And I think that obviously when you learn the basics of that part, then it's like, okay, well, how do I see what's making that do that? And that's been like my biggest goal. And it takes a while to learn that stuff. Because, a lot of people's problem is the psychology part of it. They have a decent strategy, but they go on tilt. They can't accept losses and things like that. That's not, I don't got that problem. So I feel like I have the hardest part down, because no matter how great of a strategy you have, if your psychology is off, you're not going to be, I mean, you might be able to be consistent in prop firms, but just from an overall perspective, you're not going to be consistent in what you want to get out of the market, as far as profits and stuff go. So it's like, I already got that part down. I just got to figure out the other part. That's where Panda called E and said trade London or just trade the first hour of New York. Yeah, because for me, I don't like being bored. I don't like watching paint dry. And that's what I feel like I'm doing the later I get in the session, right? So I do also believe, though, trenches with that trading the first hour of New York can be the hardest thing ever because of how volatile it can be. And because, we can be super volatile for 3 days straight and then be choppy for the next 4 days. And then you're volatile one day and then you're choppy for 2 days. And you just don't know, or during New York, Trump can tweet something, or there can be a random news event or things like that that can affect it. And so I feel like trading the first hour of New York can be like the hardest thing to conquer, because you have all these different variables. But if you can figure it out, baby, look, get what you can get in that first hour and go live your life. Like, just to think about the fact that you can make really good money trading. Let's just say you trade an hour, hour and a half. Let's say that you are good about journaling. You take like another 45 minutes to an hour a day journaling. You mean to tell me that a 2.5 hour day is like too much? Hell no. And I think that's what keeps me like motivated, just to know how long it took me to get into my 10-year nursing career, just for me to absolutely hate it. I'm willing to put in the work of journaling and back testing and converting data and all the other stuff. I genuinely believe, though, and I hope this is the case, knock on wood, but I genuinely believe this last conversion that I have to do is going to be the last one that I need to do. But if it took me 2 years almost, it's worth it to me. Definitely worth it. Friday for me. The last few months, I've gotten a few bucks every Friday. Too busy chatting. Trading 325 KPAs. I look for one trade and it can make me. And exactly, new. And why, like, now granted, a lot of people are gamblers. A lot of people are greedy as hell. And because there is a fine line between seizing the opportunity of leverage of props and you just feeding your gambling behavior and your gambling mindset. There's a fine line. You know, for me, I don't think props are ever going away unless regulation ever stepped in and people just can't survive it. Um, but because we know that props can change rules at any point, they will change rules at any point. You know, if you can get your money and go, get your money and go. The market is going to be there. So why spend unnecessary time, energy, effort, and money into gambling with the shit? Like, it ain't going nowhere. I feel like the more people try to get out of it, especially with the leverage of prop firms, the more they just gamble and be tripping. Any bias, it gets me into trouble every time. Hell yeah, Brad, it gets a lot of people into trouble. Like I am telling you, and I love the people that I watch, but it just kind of like legit to watch the market drop and drop and drop, and people are like, up, long here. And then it's crazy because people will long into resistance use no kind of internals. So they don't look at time and sales or order flow or even volume for that matter. And they'll be like, oh, it's just like there's no momentum, or why can't this trade go like the last one did or the one from 3 days ago did? And it's like, well, first of all, we've dropped 500 points today and you're still longing. Um, and second of all, you know, if you are going to counter trend trade, you can't, well, you can if you want, but if you're going to counter trend trade, there's no problem with that. But you also have to remember that because you're counter trend trading, that if most of the pressure is going the opposite way, you can't be looking for, why are you looking for 30 points? Who told you the market was going to go 30 points? If you're counter trend trading, you are trading the pullback. Who's to say that the pullback in that market is going to be 30 points? After it's already gone up maybe 20 points before you got into, you're looking for the 30 points. So you're expecting the market to pull back 50 points. Who told you that was going to do that? You know, or you don't realize that because you are scalping because of the you're on a smaller time-based chart, you're on a smaller tick-based chart, a small volume-based chart, whatever. The smaller your chart size, the less points you should be looking for depending on how you trade. So especially if you're not looking at some of the internal stuff, or you're not looking at the higher time frames to have somewhat of a bias of like, hey, most of the pressure is moving this way. Why are you looking for so many points? I genuinely don't get it. Not a fan. Janelle, I'm not a fan of him either. He's a walking billboard for contradiction. 25K TPT and trade YN. You can draw down this into bad wall. Amelia, for real. For real. And it's like, it's no shade. I genuinely don't understand it. For real, I don't. I just don't get it. All right, we switch to value area high here. All right, I got like 10 minutes left. I don't know if I'm gonna get another trade in. I kind of, let's see, 280. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think once I switch this back to bid ask, I think I'll be a little bit better off. And then I have to also remember that because I am on a a bigger Renko size, that I'm not going to get as many signals as I was before. Because the majority of the data that I have is based on a 16 tick chart. 16, and then I would say probably like 20% of it is based on a 20 or a 24. That matters a lot, actually. But I do want to stick to the higher tick chart though. I do. Sorry, my charts are frozen for a second. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Why is that taking so long to load? All right, I'll do that later then. We're all gamblers at heart. Trading is gambling. Trading ain't gambling. I don't believe that notion. And the only reason I don't feel like trading is gambling is because if you have edge and your edge has data behind it as to why, like having edge off based off of intuition, we're going to take that out of it. If you have edge based off of having even a partial mechanical strategy, I don't feel like it's gambling because you're making educated decisions based on a hypothesis based on data. It's science. No. But no, yeah, a lot of people are gamblers, but I don't I don't think that everybody that trades gambles though. Amelia, you don't want to follow those people. You don't. Especially not him. What are, oh, uptrend. Very cool. But no, I definitely get what you're saying on Brett. I feel like my head's gonna start hurting today. I think I slept wrong. Very technical gambling. I don't know. I guess when I think of gambling, like if I think of parlays or even casinos and things like that, now there are obviously certain, I don't know what you call, I guess, casino games. I don't know. There's certain things in the casino that you can play where, you could have some like technicals behind it, especially if you count cards like you're supposed to. So, there's different levels to it, obviously. I think the same thing in trading. There's different levels to the gambling. So, if you have a strategy that's kind of mechanical and it has edge and you have data behind it, it's like counting cards. That's what I'll say. Oh, did my point? Oh, because I'm not zoomed in far enough. I'm like, where did the point of control go? Oh, yeah. Got quite a bit to do today. I'm kind of overwhelmed just thinking about it. Especially because I need to nap. I think I'm going to try to take a nap like right away though. It's just too much going on here. I think we might end up consolidating here for the next 4 minutes. I might think about going back to a 20 tick chart though. After probably next Probably next Monday. I'll know whether I want to stay on a 24 or go back to a 20. I have a feeling I'm gonna want to go back to a 20 though. Um, just because I'm able to trade like in between the levels a little bit better. The only thing that is going to irritate me is just when like we have those days where the market is just extremely volatile. But at the same time, like I usually journal when something is like it's a day where it's just super volatile, where like yo, it's just moving so fast my brain can't even keep up. And we don't have those days that often enough for me to want to stay on a 24 tick chart to prevent like that. So I think the smartest thing for me to do is just to go back to a 20 tick chart, and on days where the market is that volatile, I can still trade. I just have to be really, really careful when I'm trading. But also, because I'm trading a little bit different than I was before, I think trading on a 20 tick chart when the market is a little bit more volatile, I think I should be okay. I think, but I don't know. We'll see. We use mathematical statistics to win the lottery consistently. I think there was, Janelle. Special Top Step is going to be a brokerage. No, I know they've been talking about it for a while. Honestly, when they got rid of all the other platforms and brokers outside of Top Step X, I had a feeling that that announcement was coming soon because it only made sense. Now, granted, what they do say is, you know, Tradeovate and Rhythmic. I think Tradeovate is more expensive for the prop firms per trader than Rhythmic is, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but it said that, you know, a lot of prop firms are trying to come out with their own platforms and stuff like that because they're trying to get rid of Tradeovate and Rhythmic because, I mean, they're probably expensive because they can be. It's a monopoly, right? But the reality is, I think that long term, companies can really screw themselves by doing that because you have people like myself where like, yo, I trade a specific way. I need to use NinjaTrader. So, and I'm not going to sit here and pay for some cloud-based copy trader. Like why should I have to pay for a cloud-based copy trader just trade with your company because you want to force me onto a platform that I don't want to use? That I can't use without using some kind of copy bit. Like I'm not doing that. That's just too much. So, you know, you just get rid of a whole group of traders because you're being greedy. Not you thought you was making big money selling snacks out your dorm. Oh my goodness. Speaking of why, I'm gonna tell y'all this before I go. So the other day, one of my friends was like, y'all mean to tell me nobody was selling flicks when you was in high school? I said flicks, like not movies, but like flicks, like pornography flicks. He like, yeah. I'm like, no. He said, well, what was people using LimeWire for? I said to download music. Yeah. I said, listen, when I was in high school, now maybe people were selling that and I just don't know about it because I didn't hang around those people. I said, now people might have sold candy. You know, they might have sold Kool-Aid. You know, they had the Kool-Aid mixed with the sugar and you just sell it in bags. They might have sold that. They might have even sold you some soda. But Flicks, my mans, you went a little too far. You went a little too far. The paperwork. Someone posted in one of the discourse. Top Step X has been giving people hell. Absolute. First of all, Top Step X was already trash. It was already giving people problems. Look in the Top Step Discord and see how many times in the little status update, we're sorry, we've experienced, like it was just too often. And but this is the thing. The least you could have done was stabilize your platform with the number of users you had. But for you to not stabilize it, and now you forced an entire group of people who were never trading with Top Step X, they were trading with Tradeovate and Rhythmic as brokers, to transition them over and cause even more of an overload on your server. You're stupid. You're stupid. You kids are weak. It's not the place, baby. I'm done. I said, I used to download music. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. You're like, man, you ain't gonna tell me I was the only one selling flicks in high school. You were? Because why were you even looking at that? I digress. It was hilarious though. Like when I tell y'all we probably had that day was probably like 10 or 11 of us in a voice chat. And when he said that, I swear to y'all, everything got so quiet. We were all so confused, like, you were selling what? I'm talking hilarious. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to show y'all the accounts real quick. If I can get on the right screen. Nope, wrong one. Nope, wrong one. Here we go. Yeah, he's a mess. That's one of my Xbox friends that I've been playing with him since I was like 19 or 20 years old. We're around, I think I'm a year older than him. And he is the craziest person ever, but he is so cool. All right, so here's the accounts. Like I said, account 3020, the one at the bottom, that's the one that renews on Saturday. So I'm gonna push that account. I'm probably gonna trade like 5 contracts on it. And we're either gonna hit the daily loss. Maybe I'll trade. Yeah, I'll trade 4 or 5 contracts on it. We're either gonna hit the daily loss limit so that we can hit the daily loss limit again on Friday so it can do a full reset for Saturday, or we're going to try to get as close to passing it as possible. We'll see. I'm not sure. I think I actually might transition to a 20 tick chart tomorrow because I don't like how close all the levels are because of how high the Renko size is right now. And especially with how choppy it was today. I mean, not today, yesterday. Today wasn't really choppy per se, but we still were like pushing off of levels quite a bit. So I think I might just go ahead and go back down to a 20 tick chart, and that's probably going to be where I am permanently. Unless we just have some really crazy markets for like a couple days straight where I'm like, hey, I need to increase for a couple of days, but I think I'll be okay on the 20. We'll see. He was definitely selling. They was selling flicks when you was in school too, new? What the? Like I said, maybe it was people doing it at my high school. I think I was a little focused on my academics and my sports. And ain't nobody. Well, this was the other thing. He was like, well, as a woman, you probably didn't know because he was like, I highly doubt anybody that was selling flicks would come up to girls in the school and do that. He's like, because, you know, girls would feel like, oh, I don't want him to know I like watching stuff like that. Like, I'm not a hoe and stuff like that. So he was like, I'm pretty sure that if it's anybody who knows that people were selling flicks, it would be the guys. So maybe that's why we didn't know and knew. That's why I don't know. But all right, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go take a nap, go get me a notebook so I can journal just a little bit, and then finish this first conversion and start on the second conversion of this data and go from there. We'll see. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I can talk, please like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.